In the bottom right corner, our blue Terran player from Team Liquid. This is Team Liquid's Clem. Setting up a quick little prediction for you guys in chat if you want to make the most of it. As in the top left-hand side, the red Protoss player is going to be Creator. Game number 1 of another best of 3 here as we're fighting over top 3 of this group. Clem is defeated by Gumiho, which puts him at 2-1. Creator still 2-0, still chances to top this group with a win against Clem and Gumiho, who would just straight up be in first place. Wardy, when will the other groups get announced? Group B I've already got set up. For young max packs, in fact, I'll add that to Liquipedia during this early game, so I'll just talk some kind of very generic things while I get this set, just because I would like to have that on Liquipedia. It would make sense. This makes life a little bit easier, because then I can show you guys the group and get you guys hyped up for tomorrow without, while actually being able to show it to you guys. You know? So I will do that for a couple of moments. Well, SCV is going to go after this probe right here. We're going to get that command center down against the Nexus as well, and it is a Reaper Wall-Off. We're going to have this Reaper popping out in a moment that we can follow across the other side, see if it can find some success in these next few moments or not. So yeah guys, tomorrow's group is going to be Ryong, Kalazur, Mio Maika, Ratata, and Max Pax. It's actually a really fun group, I think. So looking forward to that, and that should be fun. This Reaper gets turned around, by the way. I'm working on getting that information up onto the Wikipedia ASAP. Adept chasing the Reaper around for a few moments. As you are going to see a couple shots going off. And a couple of SCVs going down across the map. Sorry, like I said, I'm just trying to get the Wikipedia page. All fixing everything. Oh, never mind. Cynical Death's already on it. You know what? I'll just give Cynical Death all the information. Jeez, yeah. Than me trying to update myself. Alright, Reaper does go down as it continues to try and pick up info here, so trying to get some info. Doesn't really find too much in the end. These couple Phoenix going to get chased back out around. And obviously that is going to be the Phoenix-based opening here from Creators. So again, a couple of those up. And we get this up and running. Guys, do you really all get baited by this guy in the chat? There's some guy just literally made some spam that says you've been banned that takes up a bunch of screen space. And literally everyone fell for it. And now it's a conspiracy that I did it to get you all to talk? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can't believe you guys are so foolish. Fooled by the simplest of trolls. You left the stream because you were banned? Wow, unbelievable. Alright guys, sorry for a little bit of a quiet start to this. Obviously just was trying to get the Wikipedia updated for tomorrow's group, etc. We've got a few Phoenix making their way out across down to the bottom right side of the map, so away they go. It's just going to get those all gathering up together. And obviously with Creator here, with these Phoenix, we'll be hoping to try and get rid of some workers. Obviously pick up some info as well. So far, killed a couple SCVs, and he killed off a Reaper, so that's about it. It's nothing too crazy, it's nothing too, you know, overly kind of ridiculous or anything. Pretty chill so far. We'll see if these Phoenix can get anything more done, as you have Clem at the front, just poking forward with these few Marines. Let's see if he moves over to the right side. Cyclone gets a lock on, pushes a Phoenix back out through the center, and just going to be having this force of Clem coming up the left-hand side. 1-1 upgrades building on the engineering base from Clem as well. It's just continuing to get this up and rolling. We do have stim combat already done, so Clem is now getting the numbers up to really go across the map and really add to this aggression. Hallucination is going to come down to the other side. Obviously, that's just Creator still trying to pick up some further information. He is just trying to be as on top of this as possible. Obviously, if you can know that Clem's coming your way and is about to be aggressive, that's always pretty good news. So, I'd like to obviously build on that. As we have our Bioforces actually splitting up a little bit. Like, dropping Marines to the right side will deny another hallucination. So Creator trying desperately just to pick up info here, trying to know exactly what's going on. Cyclones will work their way through the pylon and the warp gate, and just going to be seeing the Bio coming in, getting rid of one pylon, and now going after the Cyber Core as well. This gateway also taking some damage. This is obviously one of the benefits of when the Protoss player builds this Reaper wall off early in the game. It's good for denying information, but it's something you can take advantage of later. Get yourself a kill on that, and that's generally a very big plus, as a few probes go down to these Marines as well. So Clem really doing well with the kind of back and forth pressure so far. His 1-1 upgrade's already finished as well, so he's in a pretty controlling position when it comes to the supplies, the upgrades. You just got to look at this overall right now and say, yeah, Clem, I kind of like this. You know, this looks pretty good for you. This looks pretty okay right now. I think this is indeed pretty reasonable, as a Widowmine gets rid of a Phoenix. A Widowmine looking for another. Observer Corona boosting out of the Robo facility. Just going to have all of our medevacs loading up, and they are going to begin their way out across to the other side of the map. So again, more pressure from Clem. He's looking to just play aggressive here. Cyclone locks on, Zealot taking a bit of damage. Again, Clem just happy to kind of keep this presence because it allows the drop on the right side to get established more easily. And that is seemingly going to be a big part of his plan, big part of his play over these next few moments. If this drop can do a lot, then he'll be very happy just to kind of stay a little bit less active on the left side instead. As you see, some Zealots going to start coming forward. The Bioforce kind of away. Widowmine shot goes off. A few of these Zealots already going down. Adept's being picked away at as well. Widowmine grabs an Observer and just going to see another scan. Creator's Force just going to gather back up. And Clem, potential? Just going to dive in here. Foresight only gets some lasers off again. So overall, I think good defense from Creator, splitting his army properly, effectively, making sure that this is not going to be too crazy. You can see the rest of this force from Clem coming back over the left side, and just going to be seeing a few Vikings overhead. We'll try to help out. We dive in. Nexus actually gets killed as Creator tries to take a fourth, so that's not going to go very well for him. Still got a couple of Widowmines on the right side as well. I wonder if they're potentially able to get a lot done. How many kills have they got? Just a couple. Actually has 3 on one of them. Not bad. The kind of thing which if you leave that for too long, maybe they can actually keep on getting kills, although this time, of course, I just cleaned them up. Now Clem sees a lot of units on the right side, still clearing those up, so he takes another chance to kind of dive on the left. He has some Viking shots already going to soak up some battery healing. Obviously, it has a super battery, so it's not really going to matter too much, as long as it's not busy healing things that don't really need healing. Clem dives for the Disruptor. That was a split-second decision, and he went for it. He makes it happen. I don't know how you keep your nerve when you're kind of playing games like this and you have to make a choice like that and you're just waiting to see Do my units actually kill that Disruptor in time? Was that choice a good one? I'd be holding my breath the entire time, honestly. I pass out from forgetting to breathe. As 2-2, by the way, on the army of Clem should make this. If he gets the proper engagement, if he gets any sort of a surround, and can kind of dodge through Disruptor shots so he just gets a chance to straight up fight, should be absolutely massive for Clem, right? I mean, he should be able to do so much in this. 2-2 against, well, 1-1 just is a massive upgrade advantage, and definitely, like I say, it can go a long way. As a couple Disruptors still coming out, +2 attack, and Blink still on the way in. Master Clem's army just out the front here as our command center will go on a little bit of a wander. Gonna go for that forward 5th base. I mean, I guess that's worth mentioning that Clem's already on quite comfortably the 4 bases here, moving into base 5. Again, his eco is in a fantastic spot already, so he's having really no issues at all in these early stages of the game. Still trying to push up the top right. Disruptor shot gets dodged. He's going to have Vikings aplenty. As he gets rid of the next Disruptor too, man, the Colossi just absolutely melt. This fight is one-sided in favor of Clem so far, and he is just going to shred. I think this is especially the upgrades. Once the Disruptors and Colossi don't do much, the upgrades really win the rest of the fight for Clem without an issue. Yeah. Now we've got some late Zealots kind of trailing in here, but I think Clem still has just too much for Creator to really benefit from that. Prayer's just going to tap out of this one. That is going to be game. And Clem is going to be up 1 in this best of 3 against Creator. In the top left-hand side, with that 1-0 advantage as just mentioned, Team Liquid's Clem. He fights against the red Protoss in the bottom right corner of the map, Creator. Which team is Reina going to go to, in your opinion, Wardy/chat? The Chinese already kind of spoiled him. The Chinese, Kaizi Gaming, in their, the Chinese oh my god, I can't talk. I keep saying Chinese. The Kaizi Gaming manager on the Chinese forums already said that Reino left Kaizi because he already has a contract in place with, spoiler warning, Basilisk. So this isn't me spoiling anything. This is what the Kaizi manager said. So if that is true, he is going to Basilisk, it would seem. Which I don't really see why it wouldn't be true necessarily. So it does seem like he's going to be going to Basilisk. Unsurprising. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Basilisk seem to have a crap ton of money. Crap ton of money equals good, you know? There's also mentions that Kaizi Gaming and Dragon Phoenix Gaming might merge, which is kind of funny because Kaizi Gaming and Dragon Phoenix Gaming originally was just meant to be Kaizi Gaming, owned by the manager of currently Kaizi and DPG, but they couldn't agree on who the best players were and who they wanted in their team, so instead they decided to make 2 separate teams and become rivals. But now they're talking about maybe merging Kaizi and DPG, because obviously DPG are losing a lot of players, Kaizi aren't exactly the strongest roster now, so they might actually merge those teams and just become Kaizi Gaming as one. Which would be pretty cool. I actually think they would remain as Kaizi Gaming, by the way. I don't think they would be DPG. I think they would become Kaizi, which is kind of wild because DPG are probably the more accomplished team. Yeah, that's what I've read from the rumors from the Chinese boards or even the managers writing. I think it's just a case of they don't necessarily have players to pick up at the quality they want to pick up anymore, right? Like a lot of the top players already have teams, and you know, why fight apart when you can join up together, I guess. Which Terran player will join Basilisk? I don't think they'll get a Terran. I think they just stick with if it is Raynor, Serral, and like Trigger, that's a hell of a team already, right? I don't think you need much more than that. Adept, Reaper. I'm gonna go the way of the Adept. So Reaper trying to get a bit fancy, does take the shot, and Adept will get that kill. So Creator cleans out the initial Reaper, and Clem's initial poke forward. Well, yeah, not much to sort of say there. Hellion gonna come around and take a few shots. Adept's doing well there. Teams are coming back in SC2. Well, it's kind of funny. Teams have been back for a long time. There was a season of GSL where basically the only players on a team were the Gen Air players. And that was around when the World Team League started as the China Team Championship. And the next season of GSL, you can actually go through Wikipedia, and from one season to the next, you will say basically 80% of the players being teamless to literally every single player being part of a team. I actually think it was one of the biggest saving graces of StarCraft 2 in the last few years. This was like 4 years ago now, but basically we went from like no Korean players having teams to every Korean player having a team with very competitive salaries, because all these Chinese teams sprouted up to take part in the China Team Championship and what eventually became the World Team League. WTL genuinely became a good reason for teams to invest in players again, and honestly, I think it turned around. I definitely think it's kept Korea, the Korean scene, supported way more than a lot of people really realize. It's very interesting. It's honestly incredible. Like, if you find that Wikipedia season where they all went from team, I'm going to try and find it actually and show you guys while this Oracle gets into some action with Widow Mines, trying to blow her up. Bam, bam. A couple of probes go down. Oh, we get the Oracle. So Oracle is going to get taken down there. Antivac. Pretty happy with that drop then. You get some probes. You get rid of an Oracle especially is kind of like a little bonus, right? You know, that's not necessarily something that is meant to happen. But there you go. You know, it makes it work. Next, coming back through this top side is going to be seeing the Stalkers back over to the right. See all our Stalkers coming through. I'm just going to be having the Phoenix up the top. It's going to be spotting this Hellion. Going to clean that out. Red are going to be able to pick that off without too many issues. More Stalkers coming around. Bit of bio will start a fight against these Stalkers as well. So clearing this out a little bit as just going to be having Bio able to push this back. A few Stalkers again pushed around. Stalker's going to start going for Marauder. Medivac's in a little bit of trouble too. Got to be careful, obviously, if these Stalkers can shoot you down. That's not pretty, but Clem has got to drop across the map as well. Stalker's going for the Medivac here, trying to pick up this kill. It's actually pretty well defended with the Super Battery minimizing the damage. The few Marines will go for what they can on the natural, but it's not going to be a lot. We still have the Stalkers over here, and they are currently denying the third base. Got the SCV delays. I don't think we'll kill the third. Looks like Clem has enough units coming over to protect this position. Five probes end up going down. Concussive Shells is building up from Clem as well. So again, that Concussive Shells up. Couple of Marauders, Marines all coming through. The Stalkers of Creator going back down the other way. Just making their way across all the way down to the south. We do have that one probe that's up in the corner as well. It's going to move around a little bit also. And just keep an eye on things, the rest of our Stalkers out down the south. Well, game settles down. Obviously, it was getting a bit crazy with the Stalkers counterattacking and everything else happening at around the same time. The Stalker's going to go link up into this main base as we try and stay defensive. Creator continues to expand upwards here on Babylon, taking this 4th base in the upper right-hand corner. A pretty sizable push of Clem starting to make its way out onto the map also here. Going across and seeing what we can do. It's going to be seeing a deny on the 4th is obviously going to be very nice from Clem already, so that's definitely a big plus to begin with, as we do now have our army of creators still hanging around. We've got a Liberator going into the natural, a Liberator going into the main, so Clem going to hit with some good harass that Creator has to deal with while everything else is going on. Now he gets some Stalkers to start dealing with it, but it's not very quick. So Clem is dealing a lot of damage while he just runs away from the army. Now, he has got a few units here that could maybe turn this into a surround if he feels the opportunity is there. 15 probes died from this offense, so really good damage done. Obviously, Creator would have done well to have actually pulled his probes away there. This really didn't really work out in his favor at all. So, yeah, that becomes, unfortunately, quite expensive as Zealots, Sentries, and a couple of Colossi go to the upper right-hand side. The rest of these Stalkers of Creator going to come out over here. Big push from Creator. He still has this main army trying to push from the upper right in towards one of these 3rd bases of Clem. Clem is trying to get a 4th setup as well. I mean, when you're pushing in this direction, you've got to be very careful that Clem doesn't come around the bottom side with those attacks, because that's where Clem can obviously punish you a little bit and maybe hit quite hard with a counter. Creator from here has got choke points in his favor. Clem will lift up one of these CCs to obviously make life a little bit simpler for himself, because that choke point was obviously complicating matters. And a bit of back and forth going through. Creator doesn't want to commit straight in. Clem obviously doesn't want to. He will fight against the Stalkers, though, of course. More shots coming through. Vikings still coming in, pushing those Colossi away. Stalkers will blink down. Fire Force continues to come through. The Stalkers still taking some extra damage, and just going to be seeing a bunch of extra Zealots coming over from the right side. Going to come by here as well. Plus, getting a few lasers off, getting some damage done. Just going to be seeing this book back and forth, really continuing. Clem not finding a counterattack during this. This is where Clem is usually at his most dangerous, as the Wooden Mines are the only thing that can't split away from that Disruptor shot. This is usually where going, across the map, basically, Clem is, able to kind of really find damage, really punish the Protoss for being here for so long. Usually against Clem, you've got to be quick and accurate with your attacks, because otherwise this is punished. But Clem's not going anywhere, so he's just sat here. Now he is buying himself time towards 2-2 upgrades. That's going to be great. He's got the Vikings, obviously, building up in numbers. That's going to help against these Colossi as well. One of the Colossi, to that point, is very nearly dead now. Clem continue to just dance back away from the Disruptors, continue to protect his 3rd. His 4th base comes up during this. There goes the Colossus. That was low from before. Still 5 Vikings in the sky for Clem. Not going to get rid of a Colossus quickly, but still going to be a pretty decent threat. Good EMPs go down on pretty much everything here. Suddenly Clem finds a moment to fight. And again, it's with those 2-2 upgrades. Can't help but think that Clem was really waiting for those upgrades to commit to a fight like this one. And now he's chasing. You know, a Protoss army being chased is never a pretty army, because there is so much chance for the Terran to do a lot. That's why the Disruptors have to kind of stop and try and buy some time. A Disruptor bought enough time to at least get the army away. Only the Disruptor got given up in the end. That could have been so much worse. We Super Battery to get healed back up. That's how big those EMPs were. It was worth Super Battery to get back on track from. As Clem is 200 supplied pretty much against 150. Creator losing now big time in this trade. Look at that dip. Just not a good fight. The EMP's coating him up. And Clem really taking advantage from there with the upgrade lead. Solid fights from Clem. Comes to get rid of a couple of Stalkers already. Couple of Ghosts firing. Zealots moving up around the sides. We do have everything else from Creator. Continue to gather here. 5 Medivacs go boosting across the map. Starting to go through the center. Push forward. We're going to lose a Stalker. The rest of these Medivacs heading down toward the main base. Stalkers come through. A Ghost will go down. 5 probes dying, by the way. This big drop obviously is going to force the issue for Creator to some extent. He's kind of running down over here as he loses the Robo facilities. Disruptors are not going to fire in time. The first one goes down. Prism goes down. Clem's going to have the top right base to his own, with his own kind of ability to do what he wants on. There's only a couple Colossi here. That's not going to be enough. The numbers are not here from Creator at all. That earlier fight really just set the tone as Creator just took too long to do anything and was kind of stuck. He was like, I'm going to win with this attack. I'm going to win with this poke. But this poke took way too long to do anything, like I said. And while Clem didn't counterattack and take advantage of it, he hit the Viking count. He hit the 2-2 upgrades. He got into everything in the end, which did lead him to victory from there. And that's going to be how Clem closes.